We're back with fresh fast food to farmers in a field on a Friday. So Jonathan, today we're talking about transportation. Obviously you don't want your combine to stop in the field. So how do you get the corn from the combine into the elevator?
Okay, so the combine will dump into the grain cart. Ideally, like you said, not stopping, dumping on the go. Then we'll bring the grain cart over and dump into the truck. And that way the combine can keep moving consistently. So then we're taking our truck and hauling the grain from the field, either to a storage site at our own farm, or we can go to the local elevator in town, or to an ethanol plant or feedlot where it will be the end user.
This looks like a rather large piece of equipment. How many bushels can you fit in here?
Well, we can haul about 1,000 bushels per load. The combine, we usually put about 250 bushels per dump. We can dump twice on each grain cart, and then we can dump each grain cart into the truck and have about 1,000 bushels.
Why is it called a combine if it doesn't combine anything?
Okay, so it's called a combine because it combines the gathering and the thrashing of the grain. So the front part is the header. It takes in the corn or the beans, and then the machine itself is separating the beans or corn from the plant material. And that used to be two different processes. You'd have one that would just gather up and leave like bundles, and then you'd have another machine that would shell it or thrash the beans out. So it's combined two steps into one step.
Now, why don't you just take the semi and drive the semi into the field?
There are multiple reasons. Tractors are designed to drive in the field. The truck really isn't. The tires aren't designed to handle driving in the corn stalks as well. And probably the biggest reason, well, also it can be a fire hazard. The exhaust is lower on a truck than a tractor is designed to go through the stalks. And also the compaction, the amount of weight because of the hardness of the truck tires compared to the size, a lot bigger tires on the grain cart gives you less compaction hauling the weight.
So in agriculture, you don't get paid by the hour. You get paid by what you produce and your crop in the field. So in this case, where you are harvesting, this is kind of all of your eggs are in this one basket, right? Like your whole, what you're going to make from the year is happening right now.
Yeah, it's a high pressure time for sure, but there's, I mean, all of it, all your reward is reaped at once, but there are different steps all through the year that go into how much you can make. And your marketing is spread out throughout the year. So, yes, you only have so many bushels to market, but if you market it when the markets are better, that can help you too. And if you made a mistake in growing it, you're not going to have the bushels out there to market. So, it's all tied together, even though
it's a year-long process, but you get one thing and then you try to figure out how to sell it the rest of the year.
Right. This is the culmination, but you have to work on it every day for the one day to pay off.
There's all these little like skip rows, like you cut in and then there's a bunch of rows here. How do you plan what you're actually going to cut?
So we pick in what we call lands. So you have an area open for the auger to be dumping on the grain cart at all times. We're trying to dump on the go all the time because that increases your efficiency quite substantially. I think it's like 35% or something in corn to dump on the go all the time. So by having open corn on the left side of the machine always gives you the option to always be dumping whenever you need to.
So always having your left side, that's the goal.
Yeah, you want, and you're gonna have to cut through and open a new land at times, but you're always go around like counterclockwise, so the auger's to the pick corn.
What is your strategy for harvest? Like when do you know that corn is ripe for picking?
So corn is sold at 15% moisture, and so depending on the different farmer, whether they have drying facilities to dry at home or not, you want to be able to pick that corn to where you can dry it down to around 15%, or else if you're taking it direct to the elevator, you want to be around 15% when you pick it if you're hauling directly to it. But if you're below 15%, basically that's pounds per truckload that you're not getting paid for, and they're not giving you any premium for that. So you want to be as close as you can, or slightly above 15%. You don't want to be way below. You also don't want to be way above if you're hauling straight to the elevator, because they will charge you a drying fee.
So they charge you if it's too wet, but if it's under, then you're not getting as much. Like you want to almost be bringing them water. You want them to be paying for the water in the corn.
You want to sell them as many pounds of water as you can, and they want to buy as few pounds of water as they can. So 15% is like the agreed upon amount. We want to be hauling into market right at 15%. They do have aeration floors and bins, so we can dry some. We don't have like a dryer. If you go further east into the I states, where it tends to be wetter, they tend to have dryers. You know, and up into Minnesota, and there everybody's got dryers because they have to pick it wetter. It stays wetter in the falls because it's cooler, wetter temperature.
So the location, like here in Nebraska, we pick it, it's a little bit drier.
Yeah, here in Nebraska, especially central Nebraska, western Nebraska for sure, you know, it dries down in the field pretty naturally because we get a lot of warm, windy days in the fall. So the grain can dry a lot. But the longer it's out there also, it can fall down, and then you're losing those ears. So you want to get it as wet as you can get it for the infrastructure that you have as a farmer.
Let's talk standability here. What are some challenges that you face when it comes to like the perfect harvest for this to be able to get in? Wait, what's that beeping? What'd you do?
That's full.
It's full.
Yeah. The grain cart should be coming here.
Okay, so we're waiting for the grain cart. I don't see it.
It's coming. You're in too much of thing.
Oh, there it is. There's the grain cart. So down here.
Now push this button. Now we're dumping. Go ahead and drive 3.7.
So what happens if you have to maintain your speed and the grain cart has to just match you?
Yeah, that's usually what you do. You try to kind of let them know about how fast you're going, and they stay a certain distance in front of your corn head.
Are you ready for this next really stupid question? While you make this turn.
Hopefully.
Look at this turn. Perfect. Have you... That's not bad. Have you ever hit anything with these corn? Like, you ever got like a rabbit or a pheasant or a deer or a coyote or something in there?
I have not run into anything, knock on wood, cross your fingers. I did one time lift it up a little too far.
Like, because you can move this, yeah?
Yeah, if you lift the head up and just caught the corner of a fence, like the wire, the bottom wire, and but it didn't really damage anything, but it was close. It could have been bad.
Have you ever fallen asleep at the wheel while you're driving, either a combine or a tractor?
Definitely never a combine. I have come pretty close in a tractor. Like if long days planting, you're just driving pretty slow. You got the hum of the wind on the planter running, and it can be really hard on auto steer to stay awake at the end of the day.
I've just been like watching this corn. I remember as a kid, there's something so mesmerizing about watching the corn come into that header. I've fallen asleep at the window, so I can't imagine how you're able to stay awake while you're driving. But maybe it's because you're busy and you're always doing stuff.
Yeah, I know. I slept a lot of hours in tractors and combines as a kid for sure. But you don't have any responsibility as a kid, so probably more acceptable.
One last question for you. How do you go to the bathroom out in the field?
Well,
I mean, you're stuck in a tractor or combine all day. What are you supposed to do?
I will say this. If you find a blue shop towel rag in a cornfield, leave it alone.
Don't touch it. What I've heard historically is that corn cobs have been used for toilet paper for centuries. So I imagine, you're in a whole field of toilet paper.
That's an option, but a shop towel rag is a lot.
It's better.
More appealing option.
Okay. Jonathan, you've been a wonderful host. Thank you so much for your time. Best of luck the rest of harvest. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for coming out and riding with us.
You bet.